Howdy, it's Tubalcain again, and I am here in my basement with my grandson, Tubalcain Jr., sometimes also known as Jordan. Turn around, Jordan, and say hi.
Hi.
We're here today to show you a couple model steam engines or toy steam engines, and I bought these recently at an auction. And if you didn't see that video, be sure and go and look at the video called Tubalcain Went to an Auction Sale, Mr. P222, and that shows me with the 10 or 12 engines that I bought. But today we're just going to run 2 of them, and we'll do several more videos like this. But if you haven't seen these videos before, we've done Antique Toy Empire Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4, along with Jordan, and running those engines. Now, if you're interested in this type of thing, go back and look at those videos, and you might enjoy them. And what we have on the table right now is a WEEDEN Model 43 electric oscillating or wobbler type engine along with the brass boiler, and it's an old one. I'll tell you a few things about this engine now while Jordan's filling it, and he uses this syringe here, this enema syringe, and he's going to put about 2.5 syringefuls in this little hole right here. And we got a brass engine here, boiler. The chimney, of course, is just pretend for looks. We got a little whistle here. This is the pressure relief valve, and on this end there is a sight glass, but it's so clouded over we really don't know. So I always like to start by with an empty boiler, and they should be stored empty as well, and then we know how much water we have in there. Now this one's electric, and it takes a little while to heat up. Okay, well, he's refilling that. There's a nice little brass tag on this saying WEEDEN, and they're made in New Bedford, Massachusetts, and I think that's where Jimmy Stewart had his movie A Wonderful Life, isn't it? New Bedford? Sounds familiar. Okay, put another syringe full in there, Jordan, and we'll plug it in and be back with you in just a second. I suspect that this little engine, and it's starting to warm up, is plugged in, was probably made in the 40s. Wooden base, and from looking at it from the bottom, I think it's mahogany. It probably is a cheap engine because there's really no bearings here. What we got is a shaft that goes all the way through onto the other side. It's kind of a tin toy, so we're going to oil it there and there, but they're not really bearings. Go ahead and give it a shot there, Jordan, and right here on the crank and right here on the piston rod. It doesn't do any good to oil it up here because the steam will immediately blow out the oil. And I think that the flywheel is cast zinc. It's not iron. It is this little engine is a single acting. That is, the steam pushes it back, but momentum of the flywheel pushes it forward. It's not a double acting, because there is no port on this end. There's only a port on that end. And Jordan's going to go ahead and pull down the not real tight, Jordan, just bring her down all the way down, but don't force it. I did run this engine one other time last week, and it does run, but it seems like it barely comes up to heat, and we may have to use a little torch to give it a little extra heat. So we'll see. It's got the old braided cord, probably not UL approved, with 2-prong. So I hesitate to rewire something like that because it's original. But this isn't really, this should not be operated by a child without an adult around. Okay, it's percolating. Can you hear the whistle? Okay. But it's not quite up to heat, and what I've been doing here is, with my little torch, a judicious amount of heat on the brass boiler away from the paint. We got a little leak right up here.
We'll probably have to put a new gasket or something.
Yeah. Needs a new gasket, Jordan said. There she goes. Oh.
You must be almost out of gas.
I think I'm out of gas. There she goes.
Very, very, very slow.
Very slow.
Come on.
I don't know if the electric element is not quite up to par after all these years or what, but we don't have quite enough heat there. Either that or I might have put a little bit too much water in. But that's it for the WEEDEN engine. Can you tell what the temperature is, Jordan? Down on the water line now, below the water line.
Yeah.
It wants to run, it thinks it can.
Around 160 Fahrenheit.
Okay, that's enough on the WEEDEN engine. Needs a little work. Maybe it needs a new home. So, alright, we're going to let this one die down. Open up the valve here and we'll blow the steam off. And be back in a few moments with a new engine. For our second and last engine, this is a Jensen power plant style 10. And I believe they still make these, but they are over $400. And this one is in perfect shape. Runs fine. It probably is from the 50s or 60s because it does not have a 3-prong plug on it. So that's what I'm going by. And this is made in Jeannette, Pennsylvania. It has the little dynamo here. It has permanent magnets in it with a street light. And here we have a double acting engine, reversing valve, governor, but it's really a fake governor. It's just for pretend. And I'm missing the little belt for that, but I don't care too much about that anyway. And we got a whistle here, and we got our on and off, or our throttle. We can control the amount of steam. And this is the blow-off valve, the relief valve. Remember, the chimneys on these are fake. They're just pretend. And we got a whistle. And it's a pretty slick unit on a wooden base. So I'm going to plug it in. Oh, this has a sight glass on the end.
And it works.
And you can see the water. Possibly you can see the water. In there. Too dark, I guess. Okay, we'll be back in a minute when it comes up to heat. I took the spring type belt off. It's kind of stretched out and damaged there, but it will work, or did the other day. Maybe it'll break today. But a man texted me or emailed me, and his name is Randy Sauer, and that's his email address. If anybody is interested, he can provide material to make these springs. He's had a lot of it custom made, and he will sell it if you need any of those for your engine. Because a lot of you guys that are watching us, I know, have engines at home. Now Jordan's going to oil this because there's quite a few places to oil. We got a bearing here and here. We got 2 eccentrics that need to be oiled. The slide valve, and then which is right here, and the piston rod, crank pin, and this point. So Jordan's going to oil that with his little oiler off camera. So it's ready to go because the thing is starting to get hot. It is plugged in. Well, there it is running without the generator at the moment. And this thing really whistle that runs fast. When you first start these up, there's a lot of condensation and water coming out until the entire cylinder and parts heat up. Can you hear the whistle? I don't know if you can hear that over the video or not. And to reverse it, all we do is that. Quite an awesome little reversing valve, kind of like the Stevenson. Maybe it is a Stevenson valve, I don't know. Some of you out there will know. There it is reversed. I should put a little rubber band or something on there for a belt. But if I do that, I got to take the shaft out, so it needs to be some kind of belt that I can assemble with a link, like those little spring belts. But they're so delicate. Now I'll turn it off and hook up the generator. Alright, the little generator is genning. You see the light? This sure is a swell running engine. It's just like they really had perfected their craft. And of course the generator will operate in either direction. It doesn't care. Now watch the light bulb. I don't know what the voltage is. Probably a flashlight bulb. As I speed it up. Oh, that's hot. Now, these little engines should not be operated without an adult by children, because there is a danger of scalding and burning, so be aware of that. I don't believe these are sold for boys anymore at all, because they cost too much, and this is a man's toy. To be honest with you, most boys are more interested in a video game, except for Jordan. He seems to really like these. I'm trying to get him interested. And for you granddads out there, or your dads, show this video to some of your kids. See if you can stimulate a little interest in them. This is really an awesome setup. It would be a good science project. This would also be a good show and tell thing to take to school. Remember that most electricity in the United States is still produced by steam power, whether it be coal or nuclear. There's just an awful lot of it produced by steam. Not a reciprocating steam engine like this, of course, anymore, but the lion's share of electricity is steam generated. And I think that a lot of people, and even teachers and people in authority, do not understand that. Water power and windmills are still a minor part of our electricity production here in the United States, and I suppose worldwide. And even nuclear. You know, as much as that produces, it just can't compare to all of the coal-fired plants that we have. Okay, we're going to let this die down. You see, that would be a danger to children, getting their hands in the way of that steam. It's an awesome little machine, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And be sure and watch my other videos. And this is Tubalcain and Tubalcain Jr. saying so long for now.